Most of the videos that I've done for the AP channel have been fairly broad from a planning perspective. And that's important because I didn't want to dive into the detail of what the exit plan actually does and the specific tools that we use without you having a better understanding of what the overall process looks like and then where these tools would fit in. But I do want to say we have dozens and dozens of very specific tools that you would use or other professions would use if it's a tool that their profession uses that allow us to create a comprehensive and detailed plan without you having to know everything about every aspect of the plan. That's really what we try to do. So let me give you another example of one of these tools that we use a lot. And it's something that I haven't talked about on the other videos. And that's the whole idea of minimizing taxes when a business owner transfers ownership. So what are we looking at in terms of some of these tools? Well, we might look at an ESOP. We might look at a defined benefit plan, and I did talk a little bit about that in one of the earlier videos. What I'd like to talk about now is a tool that you all are aware of, but you haven't been using for good reason, and that's a Charitable Remainder Trust. Without going too far, most of you know what a CRT or a Charitable Remainder Trust is. Most of you know that a way to make up the loss of what's transferred into that CRT from the perspective of the children is to have a wealth replacement trust or a second to die irrevocable life insurance trust, so there's a real opportunity for you here. What hasn't been so apparent is using Charitable Remainder Trust as an exit planning tool. Well, how does that work and why might it be more important today? Well, the way it works is we transfer an interest in a corporation, a C corporation, a partial interest into a Charitable Remainder Trust. The owner gets a partial charitable deduction for that. Then when the business is sold to a third party, the portion that is owned by the CRT is not taxed for capital gains purposes. So we have all of that money available. It then is distributed out typically to the owner and the owner's spouse for the rest of their lifetimes in the form of an annuity payment of some kind. After they both die, the balance of the CRT is transferred to the charity of their choice. And if we wanted to replace that loss to the children, we have usually second to die life insurance and a wealth replacement trust so that they have on a credit-protected, estate tax-free amount of money. Well, why is that important today? Well, in 2012, the capital gains taxes were 15% federal and the state capital gains tax, let's say 5%, 20%. Today, the capital gains tax has been increased by 5%, and there's the affordable health care tax of 3.8%. So instead of having a 20% tax, we've got basically a 30% tax. Because the sale of the asset inside of a CRT is not currently taxed, we save 30 cents on the dollar when the CRT sells its ownership interest in the corporation. We can then take that money unreduced by taxes, invest it in stocks, bonds, whatever inside of the CRT, and buy and sell all of those assets without tax consequences, the only tax consequence being the nature of the tax on the income stream or the annuity stream that's being paid to the owners. So in past years, when capital gains taxes were perhaps 20%, CRTs were not as attractive. Today, I'm suggesting they're much more attractive because the capital gains tax, along with the affordable health care tax, has increased capital gains taxes by 50%. And the income or capital gains deferral or avoidance of a CRT becomes much more attractive to your clients. It's something you should mention to them, especially, and I'll make this my final point here, especially when you are talking about their exit objectives, if they have a charitable intent. This is a great way to meet that objective as well as to increase the amount of money they're going to enjoy for the rest of their lives as a result of the sale of their business. As you get involved with exit planning, you're going to find that about 25% of your clients want to transfer the business to their children, which is great. We have a lot of tools and techniques that allow that transfer to occur. As it occurs, the owner, the original owner, your client, is going to maintain control of his or her business until they get all of the money they need to secure their financial future before transferring control to the children. And there's a lot of things we can talk about there. But one thing I want to mention that's not so obvious but is really important is this. The business consists of the owner and the children, one of whom may be active, or maybe more of them will be active in the business, but it also consists typically of other management level employees. My experience is this: when the owner starts transferring wealth to little Johnny or little Sarah, these long-term management level people who might be the COO or in charge of sales or operations, whatever, they become nervous. They become concerned, or they can be, because their boss, their employer, the business owner, is backing away or leaving, and these somewhat untested children are going to be in control of the business. Well, what's their future? What's the future of the management level employees? You can help alleviate that concern and ensure that they stay with the business as responsibility is being shifted from owner to children by creating deferred compensation plans that are funded with life insurance that vest perhaps on a rolling schedule, maybe 20% a year over 5 years for these management level people. And the concept being that every year of deferral creates a 5-year vesting schedule. So year 1, 5-year vesting schedule. Year 2, there's a deferral. There's a new 5-year vesting schedule. The idea behind this rolling vesting schedule for management level employees is that they're always going to be subject to some vesting on these deferrals, but some of them are going to become 100% vested as well. So it gives them financial security. That's what they're concerned about. Even as ownership and control is being shifted to a younger generation that's partially untested, their financial security is going to at least partially be assured through this type of deferred compensation planning. It's a tool that you can use in almost every family transfer situation in which there are other management level employees who are key to the future performance of the company.